Sex addiction or satyriasis, a real problem. Sex addiction, also known as satyriasis, is a complex and debated topic within psychology. It is considered a personality disorder that can have significant consequences on the lives of those who suffer from it. This disorder shares some similarities with other forms of addiction, such as gambling or substance abuse, but it has some unique nuances that require a deep understanding and specific treatment. To fully understand sex addiction, we must first recognize that sex is a natural and necessary part of human life. Unlike gambling or alcoholism, we cannot completely eliminate sex from our existence. Therefore, managing sex addiction is a more intricate challenge. It is crucial for those who suffer from this addiction to find a balance between satisfying their sexual needs and maintaining a healthy and functional lifestyle. In the DSM-5, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, sex addiction is considered a disorder related to hypersexuality. This disorder is often linked to an inability to control one's sexual thoughts and behaviors voluntarily. This lack of control can have serious consequences in an individual's daily life and overall well-being. Mental health experts explain that compulsive actions, including sex addiction, can interfere with a person's professional and social life, rendering them dysfunctional. Therefore, it is important to consider sex addiction as a pathological disorder that requires attention and treatment. According to statistics, sex addiction is a widespread problem, with millions of people affected worldwide. These numbers indicate that sex addiction is a real and serious condition that cannot be ignored. However, it is essential to emphasize that having an active sex life does not necessarily imply an addiction. A person can enjoy a satisfying and healthy sex life without developing an addiction. The key lies in distinguishing between healthy sexuality and destructive sexual compulsion. People suffering from sex addiction often have difficulty managing their sexual behaviors. They are similar to substance abusers in this regard, as they cannot control their actions, even if these actions cause them suffering. As with any other form of addiction, over time, sex addicts can develop increasing tolerance, meaning they need increasingly intense sexual stimuli to experience satisfaction. This self-destructive cycle constantly drives them to seek new sexual experiences that can alleviate their distress or fill an existential void. Sex addiction can be an attempt to cope with feelings of loneliness or dissatisfaction in one's life by seeking comfort in sexual relationships or external stimuli. One of the typical behaviors associated with sex addiction is excessive consumption of pornography, frequent sexual encounters with different people in a single night, including celebrities or prostitutes, and compulsive masturbation. These excessive behaviors can have a significant impact on daily life, interpersonal relationships, and mental health. When sex becomes the central focus of a person's life and interferes with normal functioning, it is a clear sign of addiction. Addressing sex addiction requires recognizing the problem and the desire to confront it. Seeking professional help and turning to specialized centers is the best step to resolve the issue. Specialists can provide specific therapies for sex addiction, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps the individual understand their sexual thoughts and behaviors in a healthier and more controlled way. Additionally, social support and awareness of how to manage sexuality in a balanced way are crucial for recovery. The causes of sex addiction can be complex and varied, but they often include biological, psychological, and social factors. Some individuals may be genetically predisposed to develop a tendency for sexual compulsion. At the same time, traumatic experiences or stressful events in a person's life can trigger this addiction as a coping mechanism to deal with anxiety or emotional pain. Furthermore, easy access to pornography and the overpromotion of sex in the media and popular culture can contribute to a distorted and pathological view of sexuality. The signs and symptoms of sex addiction can vary from person to person, but there are some common indicators to consider. These include sexual compulsion, inability to control one's sexual behavior, leading to repetitive and impulsive sexual activities. Tolerance, the need for increasingly intense or extreme sexual acts to experience satisfaction. Denial, a tendency to minimize or deny the problem, even when the negative effects are evident. Social isolation, withdrawal from social interactions due to the addiction, as the pursuit of sexual stimuli becomes the top priority. Emotional distress, sex addiction can cause anxiety, depression, and feelings of guilt, especially if sexual behavior contradicts personal values. Sex addiction can have a significant impact on interpersonal relationships. Individuals who suffer from it may neglect their partners or families because of their sexual obsession. This can lead to feelings of abandonment and anger from their loved ones. Moreover, the compulsive pursuit of extreme sexual activities or involvement with different people can result in infidelity and the destruction of trust in relationships. For those seeking to help a friend or family member affected by sex addiction, it can be challenging to understand and address this issue. Empathy, support, and patience are crucial in helping the person recognize the problem and seek the necessary treatment. Involving a therapist or a specialized sex counselor can be essential in working through the deep roots of the addiction and developing strategies to address it. In conclusion, sex addiction is a complex disorder that requires a delicate approach. It is essential to recognize that sex is an integral part of human life and cannot be completely eliminated. However, it is important to recognize when sex becomes a destructive compulsion that interferes with daily life and seek professional help to manage it in a healthy and functional way. Understanding this disorder and supporting those who suffer from it are essential for promoting recovery and psychological well-being. I thank you for your comments and testimonials. I invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and leave a comment. As you know, I always read them and respond to everyone with pleasure.